Now in this video, I want to talk about what everyone wants to talk about. Making money online, right? Because isn't that really what this channel is about? But one thing that I'm actually always still surprised at the range of different experience levels and different levels of understanding that people, who follow my channel and ask questions and also join the Discord group. I see how diverse they are. And they are everything from very advanced users, some guys like myself with some really nice in-house operation and multiple computers like you see here in this office, and a lot of guys ranging down to the lowest common denominator. They've barely just got a single laptop or computer to work on. And you go on the internet, you get on YouTube, and I've said this before, it's make $100 a day, make $1,000 a month, $4,000 a month. Every little thing where, hey, this approach, can you make money doing X, Y, or Z? Well, let's take a look at making money from a different perspective, from the perspective of what it is that you know, what it is that you can do, and that you recognize it doesn't matter if you don't know anything. That your lowest common denominator, you've got access to the internet, you know how to use a web browser, you know how to use email, you don't know coding, you don't know how to make a website. Well, you're going to learn all of that and how easy it is to really learn and build on the pieces that you need to successfully make money. Because making money isn't in one little approach and doing something with affiliate. It's about developing a system over time. And while many people start off doing something simple like affiliate marketing, they quickly learn that you have to evolve the scenario and that the best things are the things that you have control over the sale, you have more influence, you can do a funnel, or even better, you're selling your own products, your own digital products. And in today's day and age, I don't care what your skill set is, you can get on that path and that road right now because there's so many tools to help us do that. And that's what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to talk about making money online, and we're going to take it from the perspective of lowest common denominator and show you how you're going to get started and how to start on the road. What are the steps you're going to take? What are the things you're going to do on a daily basis that's going to give you the skill sets that you need to quickly get into the game and start doing things and growing your operation. Because really, a lot of people go into affiliate marketing. Why? Because they can't do a website. It's easier to just get somebody else's link and try to promote that. Well, at the end of the day, you're going to need to do a website. And WordPress is the most common platform out there. And in today's world where we've got AI and things that can literally generate a website for you in a matter of minutes to get you started, we're going to explore what it is that you should be now starting to realize and thinking outside the box, that there is nothing beyond your reach, and that even if you have no skills at all, in a very short period of time, you can be on your road to making money and learning new skills that are relevant right now and be on the ground level of those development. Because it doesn't really matter where you are when you jump into something. You start to learn what is happening now. And you quickly learn that over time, whatever you're learning is always changing. So 6 months from now, it's different than it was 6 months ago. So, all you've really learned is that initial learning process, but the things that you learn that you can do and go beyond is ever changing. So it's really just a matter of where you jump in and start learning, and you take it from there. You're never behind when it comes to technology. It's just a matter of where you want to jump in and how you're going to start learning. And we're going to do this in a very powerful way using ChatGPT, which is going to be our assistant, our tool, our helper. It's going to do all sorts of things for us. It's going to help us be a developer. It's going to write code for us. And it's going to do it by us just talking to it without us having to write code. But what we're going to do is learn how to give and think good instructions and train these tools so they can respond to our request in plain English. So let's begin this journey now. Now, one thing I want you to understand, that Rather than teaching you some system, fixed approach to how to make money, I want to teach you to think about how to make money, how to think outside the box, how to start the journey of self-learning. Because from this video on, your number one resource for learning is going to be YouTube. You're going to be using ChatGPT to assist you with that learning, and of course Google, because the wealth of knowledge that's at your fingertips these days is unbelievable. When I first got started in technology over 30 years ago, I had to go to Barnes and Noble, and every time I went, it was a $250 adventure. I'd come home stacked with books and all the latest magazines. Now everything's online. And despite all of that, even back in the day when I was majoring in computer science, I dropped out because I was more advanced than what they were teaching. Okay? You want to be on the cutting edge. And when you just jump in, that's exactly where you are. You start learning really right on the cusp of the cutting edge. So here, we're going to start lowest common denominator, but it's important to understand our objective is we want to create our own digital products on this journey. And that could take many different forms. They could also be digital services. And we'll think about different ways that we can make those available to people. But there's going to be a certain set of lowest common denominator foundation things we're going to need to develop over the course of this so that we actually can take full advantage of where we're going to go with all these ideas. This is really important because, of course, you're going to need a website at some point, and you may not know how to do a website, but we're going to make all that easy for you, and how you're going to learn to do a lot of it also on your own, because we're not going to have to teach you everything here. We're going to teach you how to teach yourself. So from this day forward, when you're not on the computer, if you have a tablet, you need to be on your tablet constantly. You're going to be doing research, or on your smartphone. Either is fine, because you're going to be on YouTube all the time, and you're going to be fast tracking through videos and looking at things that are pertinent to your topic, but not always are you going to sit through every video because they're not always going to be useful. But there's a wealth of knowledge out there, and you want to take advantage of the power that's at your fingertips. So let's start this journey. We're going to just jump right in because I want to talk about ChatGPT, how we're going to use that, learn from this, how we're going to create digital products, and go in a whole range of different directions on our starting path from knowing nothing to doing something and creating something that's viable and that we can sell. ChatGPT. And what is ChatGPT? Well, it's an LLM, a large language model. And basically, what it does is that it allows you to speak to it in plain English and understand what it is you're asking for, and then produce that based on the information it possesses or it can utilize on the outside, like gathering from search engines or resources or URLs that you give it, or even PDFs for it to read. It's extremely powerful, okay? And this is going to be the most important starting tool that you invest in. You're going to pay the $20 a month so that you get the full access to the GPT-4, and so you get access to GPTs, because this is where the real power and the ability to start an avenue of making money comes from with GPTs. But this isn't just going to be our tool for, say, trying to make things to make money under its own roof and outside of its roof, but it's going to be our assistant all the way around it. We're going to be utilizing it in every aspect of what we do. So, once you get that $20, that gives you that premium access and you don't get cut off like free mode, and you get GPT-4. The next thing you're going to need is the AI PRM Chrome extension. It's free. You just Google it. It's a one-click install. And what that gives you is all these additional prompts. And you can see it's showing 1 through 12 of 4,857 prompts. And you can filter these prompts to see what kind of things they have. Like, for example, as I've covered in my channel, they have ones that generate spin tax, always something going to be useful for us. Or we might want to write a blog. Okay, we've got a lot of tools for writing blogs, or just headers, or YouTube video descriptions. And these are really the most simplistic and common uses for this. But once you understand the basics of it, we're going to take it way beyond. So we like to have access to those prompts. But the other thing that we want is we want GPTs. Okay? And this is the new thing. Because what is a GPT? Well, as opposed to a prompt is an additional set of instructions that are predefined already when you select the prompt. For example, here's one that's been around and I use frequently is outrank. So, you outrank the article, what are you going to do? You put the competitor's article in it and it produces a competitive article about whatever that article's about, and it just outputs it. So it's got some specific instructions in there to help give it guidance. It doesn't make lengthy outputs. Many of the articles, I'm lucky if they go 750 words. So despite that, I may be selecting an article to outrank that has 4,000 words. So there are limitations. They're probably in the instructions, but every prompt is a little different. And of course, you don't need a prompt. You can pretty much, just give your own instructions, and ChatGPT is going to do its best to kind of follow those instructions. Now, recently, ChatGPT downgraded the use of plugins. There were plugins for ChatGPT that you could go and add additional functionality like Web Pilot, things that allow you to specifically do certain types of tasks. But now with the advent of GPTs, we no longer need plugins. So that's what we're really going to be looking at, because when we go to explore GPTs, now we're going to get this vast selection of GPTs that people create. And these are more than just the simple instructions that go into a prompt. That's because these have training built into them. So we're going to get into that and how we're going to make our own GPTs, both for ourselves, for our clients, and for resale. Because here, what we're really doing is we're making a custom form of ChatGPT, and we can make it available, and there's a ChatGPT store. And soon, while this is all still on the ground level, there are large numbers of users. And the fact that this will grow, these stores have huge potential. Just like, when iPhone first came out and the App Store, it was in its infancy in the beginning. And, of course, this market gets flooded quickly, but the real potential here is what you can take outside of this, because GPTs and learning this little process is just the beginning. There's so much more we can do. We can connect this to applications without code and build things for websites, chat apps. There's just a universe of things that we're going to be able to do and get out of ChatGPT. Now, research. You're going to be going on YouTube and you see I search GPTs, or perhaps you want to search creating GPTs, learning GPTs. You'll see these guys that come up at top. I watch a lot of them. I'm following them. And there's a lot of good, useful stuff here. Look, I like this kid. This young kid made a channel. He does a lot of self-help and training methodologies, takes a lot of books and scans them into these GPTs, and he's created an entire community. A community that he sells membership to that teaches people how to make GPTs. And so, he's not bringing any magical technical insights. It's all about, success approaches, methodologies, things he's built upon and learned about and been studying, and taking that and taking it all right into the GPT world and showing people how they can make and use GPTs to help them be more organized, how to be more efficient, how to work smarter, and take advantage of literally taking an entire book and loading it in, or even a series of books, and using that as a tool to give you advice and guidance based on the knowledge that's in those books. Very powerful. Really like what he did his channel, and just goes to show that just one really simple angle, just making GPTs to do that. GPTs can make all sorts of other apps, and they can be connected so that they become apps on your smartphone, iPhone, Android, okay? The possibilities are endless. So you want to go in and take a look, because a lot of these also you'll see like 15 custom GPTs that will change how you work. They won't just change how you work, they'll change how you think and start to give you ideas about what you can do. Because when it comes to ChatGPT, you're already a programmer. You don't need to know a language. You're going to tell it and it's going to make it based on your instruction without you having to write code. And make no mistake, ChatGPT can do coding for you. And you can search in these plugins or these GPTs and see there are tools to help you do code. And you can be more specific, like JS, or all types of things. And they go by the highest rated, but these can really help you. I have written a WordPress plugin using ChatGPT, and it did the job very successfully in mostly a single plugin file. Very simple. It's how I created my Spintax plugin. I was having trouble with it. I took it to ChatGPT. Bada bing, bada boom. It fixed everything, gave me the output, and that is the Spin Master that I have available on one of my websites. Now, since we're really starting from the ground up with this, I could go and show you all kinds of different things that you could do with ChatGPT that you're going to see in a lot of those other videos that you should be really searching and researching after this video. But what I want to do is I'll take you through what I use ChatGPT for and some of the myriad of uses that I am able to just call upon it under any given situation to help me get something going quick or part of my daily routine, whether I'm constructing campaigns or trying to make something for my clients that helps them achieve a certain goal. So we're going to dive into that, and you're going to see what are some of the really great potentials that these can lead into. And I was also thinking that what is the possibility of things that you can do with GPT that you could take to another platform and sell services. So let me just kind of, before we jump in here, and I'll show you some of my stuff, let you think about things you want to think about outside the box as far as marketing goes. So I just want to interject into your thinking that there's all sorts of platforms that you can bring your products and services to jumpstart your ideas. And in this process, while you're on this journey, you're going to be thinking about, oh yeah, maybe I could do this on Fiverr. And when I first launched my backlinking service, I had a lot of people contact me who had gone to Fiverr, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it in previous videos, how they got burned with their backlinks. It did damage to them. Now I had to wonder, how many people now have watched my videos and either learned or improved dramatically and do much better services here on Fiverr. And Fiverr is not about $5 gigs anymore. You can set pretty much any kind of pricing packages that you really want. So there's a lot of opportunities. So I want you to keep Fiverr in your mind as a repository to sell products and services. And ultimately, we also want to be creating our own products and services. And another thing we're going to be able to do with ChatGPT, and I want you to also be thinking about, is what other skill sets do I have in the real world? What is your day job? What is there that you are very knowledgeable about that you didn't realize had value until you had a way to really bring that knowledge to life through something with a GPT? And, whether you sell life insurance or something, along those lines, I've seen many people take what seems like the most mundane skill and turn it into a thriving mega business of opportunity by understanding there were things that they could do that could help people who are in their specific field when they got onto the internet. And now with tools like this, ChatGPT, there's a whole new level of opportunity for people to break into, and there's going to be a whole new level of apps. And the people who really have the skills but didn't have the coding skills are going to be the big winners here, because you're not going to need those coding skills. You just need the knowledge of what it is your expertise is, and through GPT and other related technologies that aren't going to require code, you're going to be able to do things other people with superior skill sets with coding cannot do, because the real superior skill set is the knowledge behind the mechanics of whatever it is you're creating. And I want you to think about GPTs like that as we start on this path, because it's not just going to be your assistant, it's going to be your developer when you need it to be. It's going to be the tool that can help take your personal experience and turn it into a professionally sounding blog, well written, or even an ebook. You know, when I first got on ChatGPT, there were prompts that you could just give it the title of your book and it would write like a 35 to 50 page book. And it was actually, you know, considering it was mostly just fluff, didn't do a bad job. But now imagine with these GPTs, you can go in and really write a quality ebook with your own expertise. And you don't need to be a writer. And you can set the tone, how it's going to be humorous, professional, there's so many different approaches. But these tools, there's already a slew of tools available in terms of GPTs that not only assist you on the road to things you're going to create, because if you could make an ebook, hey, there's a piece of digital marketing material that you can be reselling. Or perhaps you're giving it away at some point in the future as part of a promo. But the main thing is we want to be creating. We want to be creating our own stuff, our own things that we can sell, products and services, ebooks and GPTs, and this is the beginning. Now, what I want to do is go through some of the examples of what I use ChatGPT for on a daily basis. Now, when ChatGPT first came out, I was like every other knucklehead. I was trying to make a bunch of blog articles just so I could rank, really fast, and it actually worked. And no lie, most of these blogs, I did them with ChatGPT. I gave them some direction. I didn't just give it a title and let it write the whole article. There was a little bit of work behind it, and it worked really well. But there are blogs I write myself, like specifically to win at the SEO game, you have to think like a poker player. That's 100% I wrote that article. And maybe this one too. But, even on my dark marketing site, which is for this channel, all of the blogs, there's no ChatGPT. That's 100% me. I just sit down and dictate. Now, I'm blessed that I have, good writing skills, and, I'm very well read. I have good English skills, which have really helped me translate into doing blogging. But I also do technical blogs for my, did I lose my ChatGPT? No. I do technical blogs for my clients. And what I have to do is go out and take a look at what are, I'll have to go on Google and search in the test equipment blogs. And I'll do various searches with the word blog, and I'll look at, what are people talking about? Which of these companies are kind of related or developing or working with technologies like my clients? And I'll find some similar blogs around a certain topic, and then I will compile that information into a sort of a big picture scenario and rewrite that material, bits and pieces. Like there's one blog that has 2 paragraphs that pertain to technologies and how, what their requirements are, say in the lab and things like that, and certain specifications that I can get that information and roll that into a nice article that's talking about where these technologies are going, how and how my client's equipment comes into play in that story that becomes a blog. And those blogs work excellent. And the only thing I'm really doing with ChatGPT is asking it, could you rewrite this a little more professionally? Because I like to dictate it off in my own words, and I'll have it change the tone. And I'll also have it do very specific edits to make sure there are certain things, certain phrases that don't cross over to certain industries. And they're small things. I might talk about a test lab, but it's really an engineering lab, and it's got to be very clear about these what seem to be would seem like common sense and people would understand what I mean, but in the industry of high technology, it's very specific. So I'll have it help me edit certain things out that I may pick up in my rewriting of certain things, and I will take different aspects of other people's material to compile my own story that talks about how these technologies that are emerging and so hot right now, and everybody is trying to set up, new test labs and things of that nature, and with them writing to a final thing that really shows where my clients' products come into play. Because my clients in the semiconductor industry, they are all in the what is called the semiconductor test equipment segment, because that's where the real thing is. They are servicing the manufacturers. So, that being said, let's look at how I actually do some stuff. Okay, now, not all of the blogs that I write for clients are, high tech and require a lot of specificity. Also, do a lot of fluff pieces for clients for their shopping sites that's all about kids' toys or baby and newborn products, or clients like I have for local businesses like appliance repair. Lots of, like them to have lots of blog articles about related to appliance repair and useful info for people searching. Same thing. So I'll come in here and I'll find a blog, GPT, and let's experiment, okay? Let's start with this chat, with this first one, which has 50,000 users. And I'm just going to start real simple. I want a 15-paragraph article about top toys for newborns, okay? Top 10 toys for newborns. Let's see what it can just do all on its own. Okay, now this is where we see the superior expertise that goes into these GPTs. It's giving us our meta title, Top 10 Must-Have Toys for Newborns, Essential Guide 2024. Gives us a meta description. It tells us the introduction, okay? I'm not going to read the whole thing. Gives us a summary, and at the bottom it says, could you please confirm if this setup works for you? Is there anything specific you would like to add? This is good, and maybe tactile toys. And let it continue, and let's see what it does. I'm going to pause the video and let's wait for the output. Okay, and you can see we didn't get a huge article. It did give us a top 10, but they're very brief, not a very, lengthy article, and that's because I didn't give it a lot of direction. There's no things here where I could have said, hey, let's write this from the tone of personal experience, okay? And maybe we want to give it some resources that it can utilize to actually gain more content for the article itself. The client has blog articles. I could give it a list of URLs and say, use these for reference, and even product pages, and beef this up. Or I can go back and say, can you expand? I'm going to take all this out of here because I've got the makings for a nice blog here. So let me just get it all out. We're going to use my favorite side tool, which is Notepad++. We're going to just paste in here that we got it, okay? And not necessarily we'll have to get rid of the meta title and all that, but we just got the whole article because what we want to do is, let's say, can you expand to item number 1. Okay? Can you expand 2 paragraphs for item number 1? And now, let it write a little bit more. giving us even more than I wanted. Okay, we can stop that. But I could just take these 2 paragraphs. Now I'm going to come back over here. Okay, here's our number 1. And look, these actually, I could go down here even more. But I can either paste these 2 paragraphs in here and make this more, or I eliminate the first one and take them up to here. And this way I break them down this way. Okay? And same thing. Now I can go back to ChatGPT and give it that same request. We're going to just copy and paste that. Only we're going to make it item number 2. See where I'm going with this? So not to want to drag the video on forever with this process. But then again, what it's going to do, it's going to give us a couple more paragraphs. Then I go back and I interject it into the final content. I'll do this for each one of these numbered items. And this can really beef up a blog dramatically. And then, of course, look, if this is going to be a blog that I'm going to put on somebody else's site, you can see it gives me quite a bit more. And a lot of times, I like a lot of that. It's full of keywords. And I'll take all of this and I'll say, oh, gee, this is all so good here. And that I really should have it all. And then come back over here. And really, what it's giving me is so much better, you know, in the than what this says. And so I just, whoop. Undo. Let me go back. Sorry, I'm a dumbass. But this is so nice. Oh. That I'm just going to take the whole thing and put this, replace this number 2 item with this. Bam. See that? And gradually, as I go through all 10 of these, I'm going to have a sizable blog article and be able to take some images and interject that in there. And of course, I'm going to proofread it in the end and make sure it makes sense and sounds good. And then I may take the entire article and ask it to rewrite it from the perception of personal experience, because that's always a good idea for blogs. Now, if I'm creating this blog for posting purposes, for backlinking, I don't have to be as, you know, it doesn't have to meet the same expectation level that you need if you're going to be posting this on the website. But there's going to be other things, like when I'm looking at it and I'm specifically trying to rank for certain keywords, I might want to go back and say, hey, can we rewrite these paragraphs? Hey, can I rewrite these paragraphs with a specific keyword phrase, a little more emphasis on 1 or 2 phrases, and I'll gradually, you know, work that down and keep copying and pasting the content, you know, over to my notepad until I've got the whole thing assembled the way that I want, okay? And then another thing I'm going to ask it to do is I'm going to say, hey, I need a list of 60 SEO keyword phrases about newborn toys and this article. Now, I often will tell her also, please limit those phrases to no more than 3 words, because those generally work best in the softwares. But the reason I need these keyword phrases is because they're going to help me in the process for making backlinking campaigns. So that's another side effect of what I like to do. And not all of these phrases are going to be good for me. Sometimes it goes off the reservation and I'm going to cut certain ones out. But I know my phrases for the client and which ones are going to be useful. So that's just some of my simple and very simplistic uses, but some things that I do. So that may seem simple, but now let's jump into the meat, okay? You kind of get the idea that you can ask this for, to do lots of different things for you. And you're going to see lots of different ideas once you just pop through a couple of those other videos and guys that are showing GPTs. But let me show you what you really want to see, which is how you start to immediately get into the mechanic of making a GPT. Now, last month I put out a video about Shopify SEO for beginners, but I also talked about a Shopify GPT that I created. And basically, this is what it is. It's the Shopify SEO optimizer. And what I needed to do was to create something that could really help my clients with large product bases re-optimize their product listing and content and get it all optimized for SEO much faster. And so this client recently had to dump his entire product line and reload. So he's got a lot of optimization to do. And the idea is when you take a page and you may have something here, when you load your products from your provider, they just give you the default, spiel of stuff to post. And this one does not have a lot of info. So the idea here was what we would do is change this to 3 keyword phrases. Okay? And a lot of times, depends on your Shopify, there's brands, involved, and you want to have your brand, or if it's for boys or girls. But in this case, we want to keep it simple. And what else is there about this? Featuring 911 Gunther Racing Sports Car. Okay, well. Gunther Racing. Right, okay, so, car toys. That's not what I want. I want toy. Sorry, I'm being a klutz here, okay? But these are my 3 phrases. So I'm going to take these, and what I would do is go over to my supply 3 keyword phrases, okay? And that's how it starts. And what this is designed to do is it will now take those 3 keyword phrases, and now it's asking me to provide the URL of the page that I want to optimize. So, in this case, and I'm going to take this URL, come back to ChatGPT here, put it in, and now it is going to read everything that's on the page as it is. And then it understands that that's the supplied content, and it's going to give me the content re-optimized both for the page and for the meta information. Okay, so here's my, oops, what just happened? Oh, okay. Here it is. So I take my title right here, okay, and I would go back over to here to the page. And this is what's going to appear on the page. Okay, so that's what I want here. And then what it's giving me is the page content here. Remember, this page content has been re-optimized. It's giving me header information with H2, lots of stuff that I can put in here and beef this up. And the other thing, let me just bypass that, gives me the meta description. And what it also is giving me back is the 3 keywords that I started with, because this understands those 3 keywords. That's what we're setting for our meta title. So when we come back here, we've already got that here, but we now want the new description that it gave us, optimized, and that's it. And now I save it. So now you understand the basic mechanic. But how did I do this? How did I make this so it knows how to make optimized good copy and that follows good guidelines that Google likes for SEO for Shopify? How did I do that? Well, let's explore that mechanic and how we create a GPT and educate it. Because, of course, how was I going to explain to this GPT my knowledge? And it wasn't even all my knowledge. It was knowledge that I was gleaning from other sources. So I needed it to understand what that knowledge was. And this tool works. So let's take a look at how I did that. And this will really give you insight in how you make viable tools. That I've given this to several Shopify clients, and now I'm selling it for non-clients on my websites. Now, I'm not going to actually build a GPT in this video, but let me just take you very quickly through the overall process. Because here we'll go up to my GPTs, and here's my one for Shopify URL. So when we go to edit that, okay, here's how the interface splits up. So on the left-hand side, this is where I'm going to give it information and upload files and things that I want to tell it to do. And on the right-hand side, this is where I'm going to test it. So how did I make this work? Well, I had to do a lot of research for my Shopify clients. I had to really become intimate with understanding Shopify. And I went through a slew of videos and started to recognize who were some of the top guys that take you through Shopify tutorials and some really good methodical videos on SEO. And so what did I do? Well, I could take any one of these videos, grab the link address, and then I searched transcribe YouTube, and there's tons of them. They're free. You go on out there and voila, you put the video in. And here's his video, and here is the transcription of everything that was said. And now I can copy the entire transcript, and I can come back over here to ChatGPT and tell it, please use the following transcript to guide optimizing, okay? And then I could, I didn't give it the info, but I could just literally paste that entire transcript in here, okay? But I don't want to do that because I don't want to change my current plugin. I put a bit of work into this, and but I wanted you to see the process. So I was able to transcribe several videos, some really good articles of information, a PDF on something useful I had, including I got some added some valuable information. I don't know if I got it off of here, but copywriting. But it was about successful copywriting for sales. And it might have actually even been a rank math video that was really good. And, you know, especially when it comes to some of the copywriting for Shopify and some of the things it recommends and the algorithm likes, including having features in the listings and, you know, additional info. This one is not that great, but often putting bullet points about the product and features. So I added all these sort of good copywriting information and then just loaded that into the ChatGPT, and then I kept testing it, because ultimately all I had to do was keep giving it my 3 keyword phrases, then give it the URL and test the output, and keep working with it and refining my instructions. And this one took me about 2 or 3 days because, you know, I was extremely focused. I knew what I needed the output to be like, and I was able to abstract all the information that I had gleaned and learned that I would have had to use on a personal level, and now have put it into a single GPT that my clients just love it. And especially now, since this client had to do a complete reload, and right now he had to drop his entire product line and just reloaded over 800 products, and they all need to be re-optimized for Google. And so this is the tool that makes it happen. But I just wanted you to sort of understand that approach, that when you go to make or create a new GPT, it's going to give you a little starter process. It's going to create an avatar for you for it if you want. And then you can begin to give it instruction. And you don't have to give it your own personal knowledge, but rather you can take other knowledge from YouTube, blog articles, PDFs, books, and put them in to your GPT to give it the information that it's going to need or lean back on as a database in order to make educated output based on certain criteria that you're going to explain to it how do you want it to perform, what's its functionality going to be. Just like mine, born of necessity, not because I was thinking, oh, here's a great thing I can do and make money, but rather I needed a tool that could really help my clients and fast track them along. And this was a great way that shows how just one simple thing, how AI transformed everything for me for some of my clients. I have another GPT freely available, Syntax Master, but it is still a project in the works. Now, developing Syntax or having the GPT create Syntax, relatively simple. However, it needs a thesaurus. So I got the largest thesaurus available in PDF format and loaded it into this GPT. So not only did I want it to have a good thesaurus to draw upon, but I also am trying to give it instructions to draw as many possible variations as it can and keep those variations in line with other variations as it's producing it. So it's a bit more complex. It won't handle as many words yet, but it's a project that's always in the works, and it's mostly about the feedback that I give it verbally as each time when I give it new material to create Syntax. And so I've already got the thesaurus, it's already got its basic instructions, and then when I look at the output from things that I do, I see opportunities to explain ways to tell it to curb its enthusiasm, and also an option for when you get started that you can ask it, or it will actually has a prompt, would you like to put a list of selected words in to be protected? In other words, every time it comes across those words, you don't want it to change those words. And then you can afterwards give it your regular information that you want to change to Syntax, and bada bing, bada boom, it's off and running. And so this is really going to be an amazing Syntax plugin when I'm done with it. But we're going to really take a look in my next video about how to really, and maybe even with this one, how we really going to work them, and you see the mechanic of how I'm actually teasing out what I'm trying to create, and we'll take a look at some other models, and we'll go through much more in depth in the process. But even though I just did a light skimming here, it's really pretty easy in the regard of just getting into this mode and being able to feed it information and tell it what you want, and then test it on the right side, and bada bing, bada boom, you are off and running and creating your ChatGPTs. And the possibilities are endless. Things you might make or take to Fiverr or sell on your website, or you may create for your own purposes to help you make. Maybe you want to make a GPT that's going to help you make your ebook, specifically your ebook, that you're going to train it to do a certain type of ebook or information or product or service. Understand? It's a whole new level of thinking, and you need to now start thinking outside the box. So your homework is set. You need to get on YouTube and start searching some things, and let's take a look. Now, we've barely scratched the surface on this. I just wanted to give you a little easy understanding of how easy it is to get involved with this. And there's so many other things that this can do. Create images, diagrams. There is a whole universe of things that we can get into. And they don't just have to be output here on this platform. There are ways that you can connect with third-party applications without code and turn your creations into apps. Apps that can go on the Apple Store or Android platform. Understand? And so the real thing to be gleaned here is just getting familiar. Getting in here and getting familiar with ChatGPT and the use of GPTs and how easy it is. And I'm sure many of you right now thinking about, holy mackerel, I've got this whole skill set or day job of thing that I do, but I wouldn't know how necessarily what I could do with that on the internet. But maybe you're thinking you have some books that have lots of information and PDFs that can be scanned and information that you are aware of that you can access and train a GPT, and your wheels may be turning right now to utilize some personal skill set. And then, of course, you should be thinking Fiverr, places you're going to take it. And How am I going to make my own products and have a place to sell them and a website? So our next video, we'll start getting into more things because it's going to become a sort of a, it's going to be hard to stay on track with each video because it's going to be easy to sort of go down little rabbit holes. So we'll be touching on a little range of topics because ChatGPT, I believe, is the platform to lead out with so many things you can do and make money. However, there are other great AI platforms and AI products that we're going to talk about and integrate. Because, of course, you don't know how to make a website, but you know that you need to do a website, or you think you could manage a WordPress because there's plenty of info on the internet. A million videos, and WordPress is really easy. But we'll explore this product in the next video and using AI to create websites by just giving it some information and having it output and create an entire WordPress website for you that you can take, download, transfer, customize, and you are up and running and off and online because we're in a new world now of AI and we don't need to know how to do everything. Excuse me. But rather, we need the tools and to know the tools that will now do it for us because we can talk to it using the large language model that they are all incorporating, and by programming them with extra information, we're going to be able to create and make and do things at a whole other level. And it's the people that get familiar with this first who are going to be the real people in the frontier of making money and doing things. And many of them are going to supersede really developers that can actually code solutions because you're not going to need any of that anymore. What you're really only going to need is a good thought process, good knowledge, good innovation, and in your approach. And the rest will fall into place as we learn how to learn to make money. Now in this video, I really just wanted to tease you into seeing just how really easy it is to get started with ChatGPT. Because when this video is done, you need to be searching GPT and go out there and look at some of these other videos and recognize how easy a technology this is to get into. Yet, if you go out in the real world and you talk to anybody around you, 99.9% of the people you interact with, they all know what ChatGPT is. They all have heard of it. It's on the news. It's everywhere. But they don't use it because it is really at its infancy right now. And you can think of this as like the first iPhone. It's the beginning of a whole new explosion of technology. And make no mistake, guys, there's a lot of things that can be made and done with AI. ChatGPT is just the starting point, and learning how to interact with it is critical, but it's easy. You are instantly a developer about anything that you possess knowledge about. You can take other knowledge that you may know but can't articulate and have in a written format and train the GPT and then give it instructions on how you want it to function. And these are just some of the approaches of what can be done with this. But as I want you to start to think about how you can make things that you're going to sell yourself, how you're going to be able to do your own website. You're going to maybe do YouTube. But I've got guys in my community that are making AI products and they are using GSA website contact. They didn't have to wait till they got SEO, built a big thing. They got a couple videos going, they got their website, and they are using GSA website contact to directly promote those products and services through contact forms and getting good results because these are new technologies and these are things that people can use, and they're doing good product creation and they've got a good pitch and it works. So if you want to learn how to really make money with GSA website contact and Money Robot and all of the other softwares that I talk about on this channel, you need the other end. You also need to be creative, how you're going to make and manage something of your own, because that's always the ultimate objective. People start out with affiliate marketing, but the most successful people transform over time and develop their own digital products and services, and there's so many you could do. You could literally be learning how to create WordPress plugins that you might actually market and sell. You maybe just have a little bit of skill, not a lot of skill with PHP, but you can get some help because when you're using ChatGPT, it knows every programming language. And so you can also educate it on the specifics of types of programmings with the PDF books. So you can make your own specialized GPT to help you create the actual thing that you want. You don't just have to rely on ChatGPT in its raw form. Like if I really want to make a WordPress plugin, I'm going to go out and get a bunch of PDFs of books that are specifically about that in PHP, and I'm going to train my GPT for that particular purpose. And then I'm going to educate it about a whole range of other potential plugins and maybe even have it read their source code. All kinds of ideas pop in my head, and that's what my approach might be, where I'm going to go in there and then I'm going to figure out how to make plugins using GPT without actually having the full skill set of PHP coding development to make it happen. But I don't need the full set. Like over the years, I've worked with many and most of the programming languages, and I just sort of jump in and get myself educated, and I get through my project short term. I get my head wrapped around the syntax and approach of the language and what's going on. And of course, you always have to be able to reverse engineer the naming conventions that other people use when they're drawing upon classes. So, and I was always good at that, so it made it easy for me to sort of, be able to tap into and work with different programming languages and just get enough so that, I could get through my projects. Now with ChatGPT, I'm really feeling like, the sky is the limit, because there's so many things that I can potentially do with code and my background, and just using ChatGPT to supplement that process. And we're going to get into a lot of that. And I'm going to show you how you can do things with code and you don't know anything. And so your mission to start learning starts right here, and start your research, because by the time my next video comes, you should understand everything that I'm going to cover, but we'll be just looking at it from a different angle. Always with the understanding of how can we turn this into things and ways that we can make money, and how can we get people to look at our products. We might be using GSA website contact, and we'll be using other products and backlinking to promote our websites, and then we'll want to use ChatGPT to create really good blogs about the stuff that we do on our websites, understand? And we might want to make YouTube videos, and if we can make YouTube videos, we can also make training course videos, understand? So one piece leads to the other, but the most important thing is to find the tools that can help you make your own products ultimately, so you don't have to rely on affiliate marketing and the low sort of rates that go along with that type and approach of making money. Now, you can go on YouTube and you can search for Make Money Online or Make Money Online 1,000, because I wanted to, see some of these things. And every one of these things, I'm telling you, you're not going to get any kind of some systematic approach, of something, because they are all bullshit, okay? You're not going to just pick up, listen, if this guy got so many great systems, but I'll tell you one thing, all these people have in common. You know what they got in common? They are all doing in one shape or form some version of what I'm telling you what you need to do right now, and that is to make your own thing, to make your own content. And many of these people, they're selling some course or some other scam at the end of the rainbow. But why would I need that if he's showing me how I'm going to make $200 an hour or $2,500 a week or 3 ways to 100K? Sorry, guys. Sorry. No, what you really need to learn is how to really think about things and make money online your own way, and replicating, of course, you're not going to be scamming people, but you're going to get much more value out of learning how to make things that have money by just learning about GPTs and taking a good look. This guy, he's got some great videos and shows how to make a, chatbots for your website and things like that with ChatGPT and no code solutions. So really some great stuff here, and lots of things you want to dive into and search. Like I said, I like this kid. He really carved out his own little niche that's just about educating people about how to really use GPTs, and he sells a subscription into his community, and I'm sure he's doing phenomenal, because it looks pretty phenomenal. And I saw he sells GPTs on his website. Okay, great things to open your mind. This is where you want to look, because none of these are saying really making money, but there is the GPT store now that's coming, and you're going to be able to make money as you make your things public, and we'll talk about that in the next videos. But this is the opportunity. And that's the small end of it to me, is the store, where I really think the real opportunity is going to be how you can take the things that you make and take them out and market them directly on your own. And that's all the stuff that we do on this channel. But what everyone I'm finding who comes to me and having problem is that they're really just missing a viable product, and they're stuck with some crappy affiliate thing. It's just not working out for them. And what you really want to do to have success when you start bringing things like GSA website contact into the game is you want to have some really good viable products. And now more than ever is it easier to get involved with these things and really learn and be one of the first people. Because look, it might seem like there's a lot when you start searching on YouTube and you feel like, oh, the market's saturated. No. Hardly anyone is really using it. And to get on and be part of this revolution and start talking about it, training people about it, finding ways to turn it into applications that you can make money with it. I mean, the sky is the limit right now, and it's not difficult at all. This is an easy journey to get on. It's never been easier, because now the computer will respond to what you say. I remember back in the day, everybody had a website in a dream, and they would say, hey, they would all approach me because they knew I was a guy who was making big websites, making money, and they'd say, I got an idea for a website, and all you got to do is make it. But it's my idea, and many times they thought just because they had the idea that they should get 90% of it. I said, what do I need you for? I said, it's a great idea, and I don't need anyone to make it happen, and I get 100%. So why would I, And they didn't really understand that. And it was the same thing like when the app stores came out, and people would say to me, hey, Dom, I got a great idea for an app. And everybody had an app and a dream, right? But they didn't have any expertise. They weren't really prepared to run a website. They just thought it was going to work automatically like this static thing. But anybody that is online doing business now knows when you got a website, you got to be working it constantly and working all the angles to promote it and whatever it is that you do that sells those things from that website. And that's what people really understand now. But with this, now you really could be that guy and be like, hey, I got an idea, and I don't have the coding skills to write the software, but now I could actually have GPT really help me create all of the things that I need, that I want to market and sell. But you're not going to sit back and just expect to make it and put it on a store and somebody, is going to suddenly find your GPT, because you're going to really, that's not what we're about here. We're about taking our stuff, making something that we can market and getting it out there and online and showing you the path. So what I'm trying to teach you on this channel is how to think about how to make money online rather than following somebody else's paint by the numbers approach, because that's never going to work. You're going to find things in like really viable solutions right now, because this GPT thing, this is hot. And as you start to search and connect with some of these guys and watch some of their videos, you're going to understand this whole thing is at its infancy, and this is your opportunity to get on board and start learning how to make this. Because I guarantee you, a couple hours on here and a couple more videos, and I'm probably going to do some short ones where I'm going to cover, very specific topic very quickly, keep them short, sometimes 15, 20 minutes, so you don't get drained down with a lot of the big fluff talk like I'm giving you now. Because this video, this is your wake-up call. And if you think that you can't make things or make your own products, well, you're mistaken. And this series of videos is going to start you there, and we're going to start it on the path with ChatGPT, GPTs. And that's it. Now, the real name of this skill set in engineering prompts is called prompt engineering. So you'll also find some good videos out there if you search for it on YouTube, just specifically about the approach. But I'll try to remember to leave a link in the description, but I just searched OpenAI prompt engineering documentation, and you want to go and read all their documentation, which will really help you understand better how GPT works and will respond better, its limitations, and how you can do things differently to make your GPTs respond and work much better by understanding the real mechanic. Because at the end of the day, this is not intelligent. It's a artificial intelligence, and it's got certain parameters and guidelines that help it work more efficiently, and reading the documentation is a great way to start. I got this open on my tablet right now and I'm still in it, and it's something I really like to look through, read and reread, and just sort of, really digest the aspects that really make prompt engineering more effective. So that's it for this video, guys. And remember, if you like this video, don't forget to give us a like and to follow us. You want to see more great content like this, because this is going to be a series where I'm going to really teach you how to make money online, how to think about how to make money online, and how to exploit every resource available. So you're going to be thinking about ChatGPT is going to be your foundation. You'll ultimately need a website, a domain. You're going to want to start creating your social media accounts, because that's another thing you're going to want to use in this process. And get ready and let's get started for this journey. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and that's it for today. Have a great day, everyone.